My name is Steve Ball, and I am have the distinction, I guess, of being one of the first co-chairs of Project Life, which is now a 501c3 nonprofit that kind of came into existence really a little over 20 years ago up at Davidson College. Back then I was a student at Davidson and had a friend and fraternity brother, David Lindsay, and David was suffering from leukemia, and at the time he had to go through the treatment that a leukemia patient deals with, and he was successful in finding a match through his youngest sister at the time, and she was about 6 or 7 years old. And David came back on campus from his treatment and told the story of his bone marrow donation, his sister's gift to him, and it inspired a lot of the students and friends to help in ways that we could. And David's thought was that we should get some sort of student-run group, which was called Project Life, to do that, to host typings, I guess, check your bone marrow type. And so I didn't think much about it. I gave a little bit of that blood and graduated from Davidson in '92, and got a call about a year later from the Red Cross, and they said that they had matched me with a 6-month-old baby boy who had a blood disease called Wiskott-Aldrich syndrome, and he was in need of a bone marrow donation, and that I was a perfect match. And so they asked me again if I was willing to donate, and I said absolutely. And so about a year later, and this was about 1994, I went and donated my bone marrow, which involved just a ride up the road to Winston-Salem, had the bone marrow taken out of my hip bone while I was awake under sedation, but talked to the doctors the whole time, and there was really nothing to it. It wasn't painful for me, and any discomfort really just kind of went out the window every time I thought about what the benefit might be. When Davidson had its 20th anniversary for Project Life, his family came up from Louisiana, and we all hung out together, and we showed him Davidson, and we showed him all the wonderful people that made Project Life possible, and it was just fantastic.
My name is Kathy Long. In 1989, I was working for the American Red Cross Marrow Donor Program, and I met with David Lindsay. David called our office as a student at Davidson College, and he was interested in starting a group that would be dedicated to educating and testing and then doing follow-up with students at Davidson College. It was a wonderful opportunity because no other college at that time had ever attempted such a thing. And it became an accepted part of student life, I think, to join the Marrow program as part of their commitment to Davidson College. It was wonderful to see, and on several occasions, the National Marrow Donor Program recognized what Davidson College had done, and the student group at one point even wrote a how-to manual, which was distributed to other colleges and universities.
My name is Dr. Pullet Bryant, and I'm a pediatric hematologist, oncologist. I work with children with sickle cell disease, cancer, and bleeding disorders. And through my work, I have learned the importance of bone marrow transplant as a healing tool for a lot of our kids. I first got involved with Project Life about 3 years ago, and I was actually going to a meeting looking at an impact fund and how it would be donated. And Project Life had a presentation, and one of the physicians at the meeting was like, well, I don't see any use for Project Life, which got my dander up, and I start talking about why we needed people to donate for bone marrow. When I was at Stanford, I had a friend who was a lawyer who developed CML, and she died. She was African American, and there was absolutely no one who matched her, and so she could not be cured. Now we have other medicines for CML, but back then we did not. And my mentor said, well, if you're that interested about finding about transplant, then you need to find out how cells match, and so go out and figure it out. And so I went to the dorm and had a ton of people donate blood, and we did matching, and we found out that our cells are different, and it is difficult to get a good match for people who are not in the same ethnic group. And that was really interesting to me. And from there, I continued my career in hematology oncology, and then I realized that how important transplant was. We're at this meeting when this doctor was like, well, why are you going to see college students? They don't need to be involved in this. We have enough people donating. And I knew personally of several patients who didn't have donors because they didn't have an ethnic group of people who routinely donated. It was hard to find them a match. I spoke up, and the Project Life folks said, let's get her involved. And it didn't take very much for me to get involved and start trying to spread the word, because at the time I had several patients who needed transplants who couldn't get them, and therefore they passed. And to me it was a crime that we couldn't save them when it's just as simple as someone giving blood, essentially blood or bone marrow. They may have been here. If you are at a Project Life event or at a school and you're donating, and wherever you are, I just would really like to say thank you. And not just from me, but from the patients and the parents, and from my friend who didn't make it, because you are really going to make a difference, and you just don't realize the good you're going to do.
My name is Mary Mozingo, and I'm the Service Learning Coordinator at Central Piedmont Community College. And I work with student organizations and students that are interested in participating in some sort of service in the classroom. I think one of the reasons why CPCC was called on in the first place as one of the schools, besides Davidson, of course, was its diverse population. We live in such a diverse community in an urban setting, so the importance was really targeting all ethnicities and being very inclusive. So that was one thing that we had to do, and we wanted to do, and we really were excited with our numbers of really representing everyone, since minorities are so underrepresented in the National Bone Marrow Registry. So we really wanted to build that, and we really felt that CPCC was able to contribute to that very much during the February 14th and our February 16th drive too that we had at Levine. I think the big thing about being added to the National Bone Marrow Registry and being a part of Project Life is really doing something that's so much bigger than yourself. We're given one opportunity to live this life, and to be able to be a part of something that is so big and it's so purposeful, and it's about helping another human being. I mean, why wouldn't you want to do this? This is your time to do this, and this is your calling, and it's exciting. It doesn't hurt. It's something that we all have we all are very capable of doing, and I definitely encourage anyone to definitely join the registry. And if not, just be an advocate for what bone marrow donation is. We all know somebody that has been affected by cancer, so to be able to help in the cause and be active is amazing. And to sit around and say, I don't know what I can do, now is your chance. This is the time that you can be a part of it. So, yeah.
My name is Dorian Edwards. I hail from the All-America city of Kinston in the great state of North Carolina. I am a senior business administration major at Livingstone College, where I serve as the Student Government Association president, as well as captain of the football team. One of our Wednesday assemblies we have them weekly, and they came and did a presentation about bone marrow and the need for more African American registrants in the program, in the registry, to be able to donate bone marrow. And it essentially started with a competition. Livingstone College is a historically black college and university, and so is Johnson C. Smith University here in Charlotte. And when we did our first drive last semester, it started out as a competition between Livingstone College and Johnson C. Smith to see who could get the most amount of registrants on their drive. And needless to say, Livingstone College did come out on top in that competition. With the situation like this, you would always weigh the pros and cons, but there are no cons to becoming part of Project Life. If you would love to become part of Project Life through a bone marrow drive, it is as simple as taking a Q-tip, swabbing your gum, and placing it in an envelope. It is so easy. It is so it is not painful at all. I mean, it is a great experience, and just to know that your name is in that registry and you have a potential to save somebody's life. Financial donations or any type of donations, whether it be food donations for a Project Life drive or just any, there are so many ways to get involved through not just participating, but through giving things or just showing that you care, doing something to show that you care. I urge everyone that if you do have an opportunity to become part of Project Life Bone Marrow Drive through any way, shape, or form, I urge you to do that. And the feeling that you get through doing something like that, it can't be compared. It can't be compared.
Well, my name is Mary Dowell, and I am from Charlotte and went to Davidson College and joined the Project Life board back in its infancy a few years ago. My Project Life story begins back when I was a freshman at Davidson College. I played field hockey, and after practice one day, a senior had an announcement, and she said Project Life is doing their annual drive. Like a good freshman, I went out and registered. Didn't think a thing about it until 3 years later when I got a phone call from the program, the National Marrow Donor Program, saying that I had matched on a preliminary level with a 1-year-old little boy. Then it was about a 1 in a million chance that that would happen outside of your family. On April 11th, I donated my bone marrow, April 11th, 1996. And now that 1-year-old boy, Andy, is 17. So it has been a miraculous, wonderful journey that's changed my life, that's changed lives around in my family and his family. It's been something that every day I'm grateful for.
I had the pleasure of going up to Milwaukee this past month to walk with Andy in an annual walk that the Milwaukee Children's Hospital puts on. He asked me to come up to Milwaukee because it was his last year as a child. Was overwhelmed with how lucky I was that I was able to walk with him 17 years later. I think that's all I can do.